Have you ever wondered what is truly happening around you right now? Not what you can see, not the sounds you can hear, but what exists beyond your sight, beyond your senses, yet quietly operates in every moment of your life. Right now, as you are listening to these words, there may be beings standing very close to you. They make no sound, they leave no trace. Yet they know what you have said, what you have thought, and what you have struggled with deep inside. Not to judge you, but to record, to witness, and to carry out an order that humans cannot see, yet feel the effects of every single day. We grow up believing that the world consists only of what we can touch, what we can measure, what we can prove. And when no one sees our pain, we believe we are truly alone. But that is not true. The reality humans live in is not empty, and it is dense with unseen presence. A system established not to watch humans like prisoners, but to ensure that no moment of human life is meaningless. There are thoughts you have never spoken, choices you wrestled with in silence for a long time, moments when you stood at the edge between right and wrong, between giving up and trying one more time. Those moments do not disappear. They are preserved, not by human memory, but by a higher order where intention is seen even more clearly than action. What frightens humans most is not being watched, but being forgotten. Yet in the reality we live in, there is no forgetting. No tear falls in silence without being witnessed. No moment of restraining anger, no moment of choosing what is right at personal cost is ever considered small. There are beings created for this purpose alone, to witness the human journey throughout this brief life. And here we begin to touch a truth that can be deeply unsettling. You are not living only for yourself. You are living within a spiritual network that is constantly active. A space where humans, angels, and the will of Allah intersect every second. What you think of as ordinary life actually carries a sacred dimension you were never taught to recognize. Welcome to Prophetic History Explained, where we uncover the hidden layers of truth within history, faith, and the unseen world, to better understand humanity's place in the plan of Allah. But before we go further, pause for a moment. Because what you are about to hear is not just information. It may change how you see your entire life. If you find value in content like this, subscribe to Prophetic History Explained and walk with us into even deeper journeys ahead. We often think of angels as distant figures belonging to books, to stories told only to children. But the truth is, they have never been distant from human life. They are not present only in great events, but in the smallest details. When you choose silence instead of causing harm. When you help someone without expecting recognition. When you return to Allah after falling. The unseen world does not operate on impulsive emotion. It moves according to an order that is fair, precise, and compassionate. In that order, humans are not judged solely by outward results, but by their entire inner journey. By struggle, by intention, by the effort to rise again after falling. This is what human eyes cannot see, yet it is central to how Allah sees humanity. The awareness of this unseen presence is not meant to make people live in fear. On the contrary, it brings a very different feeling, the feeling of being held. That even when the entire world turns away, there is still an order witnessing you with fairness. That even when you feel you are not strong enough, not good enough, not worthy, there is still a system of mercy open for you to return. This is where the journey we take in this video truly begins. Not a journey of distant angels, but your own journey. A human being who lives, chooses, struggles, and is accompanied at every step, whether you realize it or not. Keep listening. Because what lies behind the unseen veil may change the way you look at your life forever. Human beings were not created to be perfect, and that is not a flaw. It is a deliberate choice in the design of Allah. The angels were created to obey without hesitation, without struggle. Humans were placed in a completely different position, the position of choice. Angels do not grow tired of doing what is right. They do not resist temptation to stay within bounds. They do not battle ego, desire, or fear. They do what is right because they were created that way. Humans are different. Humans carry the ability to stray, to betray their own conscience, to forget their original purpose. And it is within that fragile space that human value is formed. Allah does not measure humans the way He measures angels. Humans are not measured by perfection but by honesty and choice. A good deed from a human is not just an action but the result of an inner struggle. A sincere apology is not just words, but an admission of weakness. Returning after falling is not just changing direction but victory over the self. Angels witness this. They understand that humans were given freedom not to be punished for mistakes but to grow through them. When a human chooses good while capable of choosing evil, that choice carries a weight angels cannot possess because angels cannot choose otherwise. This is why, in sacred history, the question angels asked when Allah announced the creation of humanity was not opposition but confusion. They did not understand why Allah would create a being capable of bloodshed and wrongdoing, when beings already existed who worshipped without deviation. And Allah's response was not a detailed explanation but a declaration that He knows what they do not. What angels did not know but gradually came to witness, it was the unique spiritual potential of humans. A human who repents after wrongdoing can reach a depth of connection with Allah angels do not experience. A human who restrains themselves when insulted can reach nobility born not of nature but of effort. Angels do not look down on humans for falling. They witness the entire process. They see weakness but also effort. They see moments when humans stand between two paths, afraid, uncertain, yet still choose what is right. Those moments shape true human value. This brings deep comfort to anyone who feels they are not good enough. In the divine order, no one is judged solely by their worst moment. Humans are not defined by a mistake, but by how they respond to it. Returning, even slowly, even repeatedly, still matters. Angels do not intervene to force humans to be better, and they do not remove freedom of choice. They observe, record, and support according to Allah's command. That support is not always obvious. Sometimes it is a gentle inner nudge toward what is right, a reminder when one is about to cross a line, a pause before a decision. Human life, therefore, is not a cold examination. It is a continuous learning process. Each day is a series of small choices, and every choice shapes who you are becoming. Angels do not demand perfection. They witness effort. This difference explains why humans can reach spiritual stations angels may not. Human dignity lies not in never falling, but in standing up after falling. A human who humbles themselves before Allah, admits fault, and corrects course can surpass a being that never faced temptation. Understanding this changes how you see yourself, and you no longer treat every mistake as a permanent sentence. You see it as a reminder, a chance to adjust, a pause for reflection. And throughout this process, humans are not abandoned. Angels witness each step, not to condemn, but to clarify the value of choice. Freedom was not given to humans to burden them beyond capacity, but to allow a deeper relationship with Allah. A relationship built not on compulsion, but awareness, willingness, and honesty. Within that freedom, humans find the true meaning of living, believing, and returning. Most of human life does not unfold in dramatic moments. It passes through ordinary days with no audience, no applause, no recognition. In those quiet spaces, true human value becomes clearest. And it is there that silent companionship, often unnoticed, is most constant. There are actions no one sees, and words you held back to avoid harm. Harmful thoughts you pushed away in silence. Good deeds done without seeking acknowledgement. In the visible world, these almost do not exist. In the divine order, they are never small. They are seen clearly, placed where they belong and recorded not just as actions, but as expressions of the inner self. Daily life is not a series of disconnected events. It is a continuous flow of intention, reaction, and choice. Beings are entrusted to follow that flow, not to scrutinize, but to bear witness to the entire journey. They see you when no one else is present. They see you when you are exhausted but still fulfill responsibility. They see you when you have reason to give up but choose patience. This recording does not operate like a cold, emotionless system. It exists within mercy. Not every mistake is stamped immediately. Not every weakness becomes a verdict. There is waiting. There is space. There is room for reflection, regret, and correction. This creates a profound difference between surveillance and companionship. Companionship allows humans to err without abandoning them in error. It allows weakness without defining identity by it. It sees humans as a process, not a single moment removed from context. What discourages humans most is the feeling that silent effort means nothing, that no one sees how hard they try to do right, that small choices do not matter. Yet those small choices are weighed most heavily because they reflect who a person is when no one is watching. A good deed done for praise is different from one done in silence. Patience in public is not the same as patience unseen, and the divine order distinguishes these clearly. It records not only what you do, but why you do it. And in daily life, people often forget that mistakes are not endings. What matters is not whether you fail, but what you do after recognizing failure. There are moments when humans stop, feel ashamed before themselves, and decide not to continue on the same path. Those moments, unseen by others, carry immense weight. Silent companionship witnesses not only goodness but inner struggle. Moments when humans stand between two choices, unsure. Moments when exhaustion brings them to the edge of giving up. And when they take one more step, even a small one, that step is never overlooked. This gives spiritual life practical meaning. Life is not a stage where only grand acts matter. Each day offers chances to reveal who you truly are, how you treat others when no one demands it, how you keep promises when no one checks, how you respond to injustice. Silent companionship also teaches honesty with oneself. Intention cannot be fully hidden. Humans may deceive others, but not the order that records their entire journey. This is not meant to create fear, but awareness. A reminder that living rightly is not about being seen, but about preserving inner integrity. When people understand that their daily lives are witnessed with fairness and mercy, how they live changes. Small things gain importance. Quiet choices are no longer dismissed. Meaning does not wait for dramatic moments. Ordinary days shape true identity. Throughout it all, invisible companionship never leaves, not loudly, not visibly, but persistently, witnessing, recording, waiting, and so that when humans look back on their lives, they realize no sincere effort ever passed without leaving a trace. There is a deeply personal moment in human life, usually silent, unseen. The moment a person turns to Allah in prayer. Often not when life is easy, but when they reach their limits, when reason fails, when control slips away and only one path remains, lifting the heart upward. Many think prayer is simply asking. In the divine order, prayer is never isolated. The moment a supplication is made, aloud or silent, an unseen movement begins. Not of sound, but of intention. That intention activates a system linking human fragility to Allah's power and mercy. Prayer does not vanish into the air. It is not forgotten because it is not answered immediately. In the unseen world, every sincere supplication is received seriously, raised, and presented according to Allah's wisdom. Some prayers are answered exactly as asked. Others are answered differently in subtler, deeper ways, often understood only later. Sometimes what humans ask for is not what is best. Mercy does not always appear in expected form. Some prayers become protection, preventing harm humans never realize. Some are stored, accumulating as reward for a time when they will be needed more than what was originally asked. No sincere prayer is ignored. What makes prayer special is not eloquence, but honesty of heart. A broken, tearful prayer carries more weight than polished words without sincerity. The divine order measures prayer not by form, but by truthfulness. When someone prays for another, especially without their knowledge, something remarkable occurs. Compassion turns back upon the one praying. In Allah's order, wishing good for others opens a path for good to return. This is not transactional, but a spiritual law. A heart that cares for others is enveloped in care from above. Remembrance of Allah through simple words also creates powerful movement in the unseen. When a person pauses amid life's rush to remember the Creator, they enter a stream of worship that existed before humanity. That remembrance joins a greater harmony where all levels of existence move toward one purpose. Reciting the Quran goes far beyond receiving information. Each verse resonates beyond the listener's ears. Even when read alone in a small room, one is not alone. The Quran creates an atmosphere where connection between human and unseen becomes clearer than ever. Prayer teaches humility. Raising hands acknowledges limits, and it admits not everything is controllable. That admission opens the door to help, not because humans deserve it more, but because they stand in the proper place, a creation seeking guidance from the Creator. In the hardest moments, prayer becomes refuge. Invisible support is often strongest then, not always as instant solutions, but as peace, as strength to endure, as trust that the story is not over. Prayer's lasting value lies here. It does not remove trials, but helps humans stand within them. It does not erase pain instantly, but gives it meaning. And throughout this process, the unseen world is active, responding, arranging with wisdom beyond human understanding. Looking back honestly, many realize how often they were supported unknowingly. Doors closed to protect them, paths adjusted to lead them somewhere better, and many of those moments began with prayers thought unanswered. Prayer is not a weak voice against a vast universe. It is a living thread connecting human fragility to a merciful order where no sincere plea is dismissed and no returning heart is abandoned. Human life is often seen as disconnected events: birth, growth, aging, ending. In deeper reality, life is a journey witnessed, accompanied, and remembered from beginning to end. No moment lies outside this order, even moments humans fail to understand. From before awareness of existence, arrangement was underway. Life did not begin randomly, but intentionally. Each stage unfolded within a carefully observed process. Humans enter life not as lost beings, but as creations placed at the right time, in the right conditions, with the right challenges. As humans walk their path, each turn and hardship becomes part of preparation. Painful events do not always destroy. Some refine, some force reflection. Not all suffering is permitted. Some dangers are blocked. Some disasters never happen. Some doors close unexpectedly, later understood as protection. This does not mean exemption from pain. Pain is measured. Only challenges capable of growth are allowed. As life nears its end, humans fear death. In the divine order, death is not chaos, but transition, an ending in a doorway. No one crosses it alone. Everything recorded becomes the foundation for what follows. What humans accumulate does not vanish with final breath. It continues as value. Silent choices, unseen efforts, recoveries after failure reveal true meaning. Differences lie not in circumstances, but in how life was lived when choice existed. When action is no longer possible, preparation becomes the answer. Those who lived with awareness, humility, and sincere return find their journey does not end in abandonment, but continues with injustice. The gathering of all people is no surprise to the unseen order. It is the moment when each journey is presented fully, not just outcomes but processes. Justice then is comprehensive. What makes that day profound is clarity. No misunderstanding, no self-justification. People see themselves as they truly lived. Many will realize what they thought small carried the greatest weight. Understanding life as an accompanied journey changes how people live now. Days gain meaning, caution increases without despair. Perfection is not demanded, honesty and effort are. Knowing one never walked alone removes fear. Responsibility and hope remain. Life becomes not a burden, but a meaningful path with purpose and destination. In this understanding, humans find deepest peace, not because they know what comes next, but because they know their journey is witnessed, measured, and guided by wisdom beyond themselves. The deepest lesson is simple. Live as if each day matters because it does. Speak carefully, not out of fear, but awareness. Be patient, not from weakness, but strength. Return not in shame, but trust that the door was never closed. Applying this requires no overnight transformation. Begin simply. Slow down, be honest. Value small good deeds. Do not despair at imperfection. Treat each day as an opportunity to adjust direction. Above all, remember you do not walk alone. Even in loneliness, companionship remains. And with that awareness, life becomes not something to endure, but a chance to grow, return, and find true meaning. If this content helps you see life more clearly, join the Prophetic History Explained community to explore deeper insights into prophetic history, the unseen world, faith, and timeless lessons for modern life. And do not forget to subscribe to Prophetic History Explained to support us in continuing to create meaningful, thoughtful content in future videos.